54.90, and then the retail price on that one is £110.62, so £111.
And for the shop, I think it's too high ranged.
6 p.m. Half an hour left.
The silicone tea light holder is £5.
No, I am sorry. That's too much for me. I am on a pound line, you know?
You're Poundland?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No bikes sold. Tim's final appointment. A top London cycle shop specialising in high-priced bikes.
You know, we said, how many do you wish to sell in the UK in the first year? And they were talking tens of thousands. Yeah, I'd say I'm quite a good negotiator. When playing Monopoly, you have to negotiate all the way through, and I usually win a game of Monopoly because of my negotiation skills.
We'd probably get half a dozen.
Yeah,
That's what
right,
we thought
okay. And of the stepper?
It's not really us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay,
It's not,
okay.
It's
Right, so there you go.
Okay.
Your signature there. Hello.
Hi, how did you get on?
Sold 6 of the bubs.
6 of the bobs,
That's-
what about the other one?
None of them.
So,
Bugger. Bugger.
Another day of trading done. The shutters come down. Tomorrow, the boardroom, the totals, and who will go through to the final.
I don't deal with failure very well at all. I don't like losing. Right now, it means absolutely everything to me to get into that final, and I'm not going home.
What I'm best at is making friends in business and making good connections. And in the long term, I will be a better business person than I think anybody else here.
I do think that I'm the complete package. I genuinely believe that all the actions that I have done so far are really good, and I think they are strong enough to take me all the way. I think that there's always pressure, and it's added pressure given the fact that it's the penultimate task. But I think that you can't ever let the pressure get on top of you. I did the best I could have done, and I think that I did it well.
I definitely deserve to be in the final because I took the risk, and I think I've done well, and I've earned my place in the final.
You can go through to the boardroom now.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lord Sugar.
Well, went off to Holland. So we're going to work out to see who the clever clogs were here this time. Revolution. Team leader. You, Arjun, yeah? OK. William of Orange or White Lemon?
In terms of decision-making, he wasn't the best, as he was very much looking for me and Zoe to kind of give input on that.
And Zoe, what do you think of your team leader?
I didn't think it's a good trait to be autocratic the whole time, but I do think that at times he could have been slightly more decisive.
The reason I was looking for input from them is that as a team leader, you don't want to have to make all decisions yourself. You have to make sure everybody's happy with.
OK. Anyway, Arjun, 6 designers you had to talk to. Now, I heard that you gave these designers a bit of a hard time, the feedback I got.
Well, I tried to be as polite as possible when I was speaking to designers.
When you're putting your trust and potentially our place in this process in the hands of a product, then we need to make sure that it's correct. And I think
Were you a bit frustrated about the information coming through, was you, Emma? Because I came across as a little bit abrupt from what I heard.
From my point of view, I'm looking at what the consumer would want.
There's ways and means of prizing this stuff out of people. Maybe there was an air of impatience. Anyway, let's move on. Now, so we've got these 6 designers, but there was a bit of a negotiation went on, I think, between the 2 teams, no?
Yeah, we had a
I
clash.
heard you lot were quite shrewd in your negotiation. Silence, let them do all the talking. You reckon you got stitched up a bit there?
Well, we felt as though the negotiations needed to move on because we had lots of calls to make. We just wanted it to be finished, and we knew they weren't going to move, so we had to be flexible.
So you ended up with the knotty dolls or whatever it is and the cutlery?
Yes.
Yeah? Right, so what'd you do then?
Zoe did the first pitch.
Well, how'd that go?
They asked some really difficult questions that we didn't have very many answers for, so I had to keep saying, well, we'll have to ask the designer and refer back to them because I couldn't give them a definitive answer there and
But
then.
too late to ask the designer.
Yeah.
No? I mean, you're supposed to have asked the designer when you actually there with them. Did you negotiate with the suppliers? You ask them what their price breaks were and all that stuff?
No, we didn't ask the designers about the
So
negotiation.
you just took their prices?
Yeah, we did.
You know, in the back of your mind, you knew that you had to go and talk to retailers, and retailers, one of the obvious questions they would ask you, if I want to buy 1, how much is this? If I want to buy 10, how much is that? If I want to buy 100, how much is that?
None of those questions were asked.
Well, maybe that's, you know, naivety, young naivety, or something that slipped through the net there. So then when you move on to then, you went on to Liberties. Who done the pitch there?
I pitched it because I thought maybe...
How do you think that went?
I thought it went all right there because we'd been asked some of those questions before.
So you were ready for some of the answers, were you?
Yeah, we were.
All right. OK. Instinct. Kirsty, team leader. Yeah? Take me through from when you saw the 6 designers.
Okay,
You know.
we took more of the friendly approach.
Yeah.
We didn't want to give them too hard a time, you know.
You can often get more out of people when you're friendlier to them.
So your first choice was what?
Originally, the cutlery and the mood flame.
Right.
And the bikes were the second choice. But then, when we found out we had a clash, Tim and I both felt that we just didn't want to let the bikes go because they were such a high-end product. We worked out something like if we sold one of the bikes, they had to sell 57 eco-toys to match one. So
If you sold one of the bikes.
Yeah.
You rolled the dice there, didn't you?
I did. I wanted to take the risk.
But also, actually, you just wanted the negotiation to be over so you could
I wouldn't
get
say
on...
that.
Excuse me, you've just said so.
Sorry, okay, sorry.
Because you had work to do. So in a sense, you know, you did walk away feeling that they had legged you over slightly.
I think...
Allow me to say that.
Yeah.
Where'd you go first?
Liberty.
Any good?
You know, we knew the products. We'd actually, you know, asked the designers about prices and stuff, so...
But Tim, promise me one thing. Try to get the product name right. You called it Britavus, whereas in fact there's no R in it at all, it's Batavus.
Does help if you get the name right of the product you're selling, it's quite...
I think you generally get it right.
It's quite useful. And where'd you go next?
House of Fraser.
The guy who gave you a bit of stick there, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was asking some really searching questions like, where do you see it in
how
our
much
store?
are they? I think you got a bit of a wake-up call from the harsh world of commerce. Well, let's see. Karen, Revolution, the sales they made to customers they found for themselves.
They took £1,146.45.
Right. And Nick?
Instinct marginally better at £2,529.09.
House of Fraser, Karen.
You took a total number of orders of £9,025.
£9,025, good. And for Instinct, Nick?
Something of a disaster here, no orders.
Right. And Revolution with Liberties, Karen?
Regretfully, didn't take any orders.
And for Instinct?
I think it proved successful, taking £37,256 worth.
Wow. That's a win. That is a win.
Thanks.
I make that a total of £39,700. But that, I think, in fact, I'm actually sure that's the record that anybody has ever sold in this boardroom. Very good, very, very good indeed. Well, look, you have done very well on this task, obviously. We've done exceedingly well because you're in the final. Simple as that, OK?
Thank you.
Off you go.
Good.
Nearly